If you're one of the new 30 subscribers that came in from my last video, or even if you're an old subscriber, don't worry, this won't be a common occurrence or a situation where one random channel you like veers off into political content that nobody asked for, which seems to happen a lot for some reason. The last video I posted was about a video game, so I can understand why this could be kind of jarring, but you're probably wondering why I care in the first place. I studied American politics back in 2012, I find it interesting. That's obviously a perfect year for it. And then 2016 happened and everyone became a political expert for some reason. This whole situation just got blown out of control and then it was everywhere. However, I will stay neutral, objective, and this won't be like a super deep dive. I could, but this obviously isn't the place for that. The idea was just to make a short video to get my thoughts out. I wanted to make this before the election as it obviously would have made more sense, but I've been very ill. However, I still have some things to say that I feel are helpful to the situation. So basically, in a nutshell, the 2024 online political sphere was absolutely ridiculous. I won't name any names, obviously, but there were people uploading multiple videos a day with the exact same electoral map they had in the last video, and they somehow managed to make the video last 15 minutes each time. Sometimes I'll just skip to the end of the videos where they had Trump with the same number of electoral college votes that they had in the last video, and it just made me question why they needed to upload the same thing 3 times in a day with the same numbers. One channel I saw was within the hour where they had the same video, well, pretty much the same video. They're basically just farming content with every single news story becoming a big deal. I used an alt account on some videos where it said Trump had a 99% chance to win, and I left comments saying I just wonder what will happen if that came to be wrong. I never went back to check any because there were so many videos they just got lost. I tried to put them all in a playlist, but the playlist got to about 700 videos, and I just thought, well, there's no point. Doesn't matter. I either got flamed in the comments or I just got ignored. There's so many comments on there. I guess it's a good thing that I sat on this a bit because it's somehow actually gotten worse since election day. People were doing hypothetical matchups for 2028 during the middle of November, and it's like, dude, chill out. Now, I know these people need to make money because for some of them it's their jobs, but there has to be better ways to do it. I just find them to be drama merchants that just try to instill panic or fear into their audience to keep them coming back. But that's exactly how every news station works anyway. And then for me, I'd end up checking opinion polls on Wikipedia what felt like every hour, and I fell for it too. You know, I got wrapped up in it. And I know every election is, quote, the most important election in history, but honestly, you go outside and talk to people, and some of them couldn't even name who the Dem VP candidate was in 2016. Kane even joked about it at one point on TV. There was a lot of infighting and drama for what honestly just should be political news, and to an outsider that is just looking in for news, maybe they wouldn't watch these smaller channels anyway, it was too much. It felt like internet blood sports from the 2018 era. As I learn more about the political process myself, it just seems like every 4 years on YouTube it gets ramped up as the climate gets worse in general. I guess that makes sense, but we all do need to take a step back. Do you remember when the Dean scream was enough to ruin a political campaign? Simpler times.
And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House! Yeah!
Kind of crazy how much has changed even between 2012 and 2016. I mean, I saw it firsthand. Typically, that it is now all said and done, I don't care as much anymore and just follow the news normally every day like I used to. The channels still make some interesting content that I watch occasionally, but they've all experienced an obviously drop off in viewership, which left-wing channels spoke about the most, and I really don't seek it out anymore. I think we could all do with a mental break and just focus on something else. However, in a bigger picture sense, there just seems to be more and more rage bait mixed with video essays on this site, and it's honestly just getting exhausting. However, that is a video for a different day, but this meme sums it up perfectly for now. I know all this isn't exclusive to just these videos either, but I really did feel like it was just getting a bit much for what was supposed to be simple news. I will say that the positive comments in both sides' videos were a breath of fresh air from everyone fighting all the time. The fact that we refer to them as sides like a football game shows how extreme it's gotten. After a while I just had to stop myself, make a point to turn off the videos and just go and do something else. Just some of my thoughts on the videos for a moment. Looking at trends of some states in 2016, I can see where people were coming from, saying New Hampshire could flip in particular, because back then it was decided by less than 3,000. That state also has a history of being anti-incumbent with a lot of independents too, and also went to Bush in 2000. People at the time saw the 2020 election as an outlier due to how different that election was, so they didn't really use that one too much in their analysis. And I think Trump would have won 2020 if COVID didn't happen and this would all be over by now. But that's like saying he'd have won if he didn't lose, so it's whatever. I thought that the amount of write-in votes in 2020 really inflated both candidates' numbers, but after seeing the results in November just gone, maybe not. But there's already enough controversy around the vote spike that night that any conversation about that process will just cause arguments anyway. I saw people saying Trump will take Minnesota but lose New Mexico, and I just didn't see it. He was up apparently 0.39% in Minnesota at late October when I wrote this, and I just love to know where all these people get their inside knowledge to that minute a detail from. I thought it was nonsense when I saw stuff like Trump could flip New York, but with New Jersey he really did come close. Also, Virginia felt like it was really, really close the whole night too. I really had no clue what would happen. You've got Lichtman saying Harris will win, and you've got the Pennsylvania cookie poll saying Trump will win with a 90% lead, and also the Maine student poll which said Trump would win. It was interesting because all three of those had been correct more than they hadn't, so it was interesting to know that on that night someone was going to be proven wrong. I will say I'm glad Lichtman was wrong, just because he very much needed some humble pie, but obviously that didn't happen. Just one thought for a moment, I don't like what the Democrats did to Biden, and the whole party just needs a reset, which that didn't happen either. But I also don't see an issue with Harris being the nominee like most people did, because she is second in line for the presidency anyway. Just overall, I don't really like how the whole process was done. But this is a map I made before election night that was honestly very close to what actually happened, mostly because I watch these videos all the time and the on-ground reporting in Nevada had it flipped for me, which surprisingly became true. The only difference you'll see here is New Hampshire because of how close it was in 2016 again, and me hoping for some change in the map. It's going to happen one day, like it did with Obama and then Trump, but what a crazy election that was anyway. Now in conclusion, I will say, don't subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this in the future, because I don't plan to make more videos like this. I could, but this was just a one-off. I fully expect this video just to get my one view, just to test if the video works. I kind of made this video just for me, just to get it out of my head, and as a test for me just to do a shorter video with notes like I was doing back in 2010. If this video does cause any arguments or whatever, then I'll just take it down. At the end of the day, this is all nonsense that we shouldn't fall for. It's all performative. If they can sit down and talk normally, and we're out here cutting family off at Thanksgiving because of this, then we're the ones being played. Remember that. I wrote the bulk of this down at 2 AM in the morning one day in October because I couldn't sleep and needed to just get it out of my head. I used to look at polls before I went to sleep and when I woke up in the morning, which would end up in me dreaming about it sometimes. I speak to my family and friends enough about it, and just making these notes honestly helped me. It's my fault that I let it get to me so much too. I've had to change some of the notes, of course, because they were speaking of things to come, not what's happened already. But I really do hope I got my point across. It feels like it's calmed down now because the hysteria was obviously 3 months ago at the time of recording, but it really did get so silly on here. Every video was the same inflammatory stuff, and that was all I saw anywhere. Anyway, short video made longer by the more stuff that I remembered. Hopefully it sounded better too. The last mic I used was quite a bit of money, so I kind of assumed it would have sounded better than it did. Or maybe it was a recording software I used, who knows? Oh well. My next video is either going to be about Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions or a review of Shadow Generations to see how close my predictions were, or Sonic Superstars or Dragon Ball GT. So basically what I'm saying is that it's going to be about something completely different. I've got many other videos in mind, but for now it's time to move on and make predictions for the Best Actor winner.